How's everyone doing? It's so good to see everyone.
Hello,
What's up?
It's going well. Kat, good to see you again. 3-time guest on the show, I guess.
I know. I said you got to get me a jacket or something when I hit 5, just like SNL. I'm always here.
It's so exciting. I mean, all of you did an incredible job in this. I have questions about your characters in the movie and how you all made it and everything, but I wanted to ask you all. We'll start with Sophia, then Lincoln, and then Kat. Where does science class rank in your favorite subjects growing up? I'm just curious about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Ever since I've been in school, probably science number 1, like for favorite subject, then art, and then social studies.
Okay, great. So with popular theory, like your character, you enjoy the science classes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lincoln, what about you?
Yeah, science is like my number 1 favorite.
Oh my God.
And I just love science ever since I was little, like chemistry and
Was this like a prerequisite when you auditioned something or tape, by the way?
Yeah.
Love science class.
Yeah.
Kat, are we gonna make it 3 for 3? Do you like science class?
No, these kids are smarter than me, and they really are. And so I was no good at science. I was not a science or math girly, but I was English girly all the way. I could read really well. Science was like bottom of my list.
We're 2 for 3.
barely-
We wanted to get the clean slate, but no. I mean,
No clean slate. Sorry, guys.
And then I'll start kind of with the question. I mean, Kat, one of the cool things about this is, your character is part of kind of this experiment about becoming popular and everything in the film. Did sometimes it feel like you were playing 2 characters? Did it feel like that at times?
Huh. I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
because it's like
I don't-
it's the same character, but like there is that kind of change of like aesthetics
Same
and like how
character.
she's
It's just Casey is just, she always remains in a state of unhinged. It's just like exactly how it's like turning the dial up for her. Because she's always a little unhinged. She's like me. I'm always on that level. But it's like how much you gonna turn up the volume on that. So it's really just turning up the volume of unhinged, if that makes sense.
No, it does totally. And Lincoln, kind of add to that just from a character perspective. How does what is that journey like for you as an actor? Kind of reading this in the script and auditioning, and then actually going and filming and bringing this character to life. What was it like for you on Popular Theory specifically?
honestly it was. I mean, it's like a story just magically appearing, because like I read the story, I imagine how Winston looks, how his house looks and everything, and to just see it come alive and how like creative and like colorful it is, it's amazing.
And Sophia, I think one of my favorite things about these characters, specifically your character, is there's this kind of situation where she's very smart and she knows what's going on. But at the same time, she's leading these experiments. At the same time, she's figuring things out and kind of doing this self-reflection. That's like the cool thing. You did a great job with that. So what was that like, seeing that in the script specifically? Because that was one of my favorite things about the movie.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. 2, I've said this before, as Erwin is a genius, but I feel like she can also be really stubborn.
Yeah.
Like, don't want to spoil anything, but there is a moment in the movie where she's like kind of being a little stupid, and not thinking ahead. And I don't know, I just found it so fun to play that kind of like kind of this nice medium where she's incredibly smart, but she doesn't know everything, you know.
Absolutely.
And the thing that makes her stubborn is she thinks that she knows everything, but she really doesn't.
Totally.
And that was really
that's a really cool thing we saw in this film. And like, I love the kind of journeys and everything. I really felt like this movie was a journey for all your characters, because I feel like there's a start of this and there's a change and there's kind of a finding yourself self-reflection component for all 3 of your characters in this film. It's very funny. The comedy is there. But Kat, out of like the 3 things I'm going to name right now, there's a lot of heart in this movie. There's the coming of age component, and there's like the self-reflection, finding yourself component. Is there one of those aspects of the film you like the most out of them, like the heart, the self-reflection, or the coming of age? Is there one that you like the most out of the 3?
I think the self-reflection is definitely for me. I think it kind of like it's really fun because it's like this fun family movie and it's interesting to watch, but at the same time it's like, that's an interesting message that like brought about with such an interesting kind of storyline of like, oh, like popularity. It's not like it's all it's cracked up to be. Like really like you just need a solid group of friends who like love you. And so, that message, it's not like super in your face. It's just like brought about with a really interesting concept of a science experiment of bubblegum. So I just think the storyline is great.
Lincoln, what about you out of those three kind of elements, the heart, self-reflection, coming of age, is the one you really liked?
I'd say it's like the heart of the story. I mean, it kind of starts with like Winston and Erwin not really having much friends, but at the end they figure out like that they both like the same thing and then they become best of friends. Like it's pretty beautiful.
Sophia, I feel like you have to say coming of age now, so it's not the same.
Yeah.
I know, it's the only one left. Honestly, well, I'm not gonna say it. Honestly, I love like the self-reflection. I just love the entire message of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, it's something that I live by, especially now. Like, you don't have to change yourself to find the right people, because if you have to change yourself to be around them, then they're not the right people, you know? Like, you will find someone, and when you do find someone that loves you for you, those are the type of friendships that last, and I absolutely love that message.
100%. Kat, I asked you this last time we talked about Freddie specifically, but like, and I feel like it depends on the project and the different stages and everything. Did this feel like one kind of big journey with Popular Theory where there was kind of like many steps of reading the script, preparing, table reads, going and filming? Or did it feel kind of like separate journeys? Because it's always that kind of situation where like, you know, so many things happen before you film something with the scripts and getting to know these characters. Like, how did it feel with this one specifically, journey-wise?
I think journey-wise, there was like, I guess there were two different journeys with me of it being like, first they had me I got the script and they were having me read for Ari, Erwin's sister.
Yes.
And so I didn't feel like that part was right for me. When I was reading the script, I was like, I feel like it's Casey and I really want to be a part of this movie because the script is so good. So I read for Casey and then I like didn't hear anything back and I was super bummed because I was like, gosh, like I really thought I was meant to be a part of that. Like you have those auditions where you're like, dang, like I really felt drawn to that and really felt connected to that. And so there was that whole journey of like letting it go and being like, dang, like I didn't get it, let it go, move on. There's another script. And then like hearing that like I got it, it was just not like, it was like a week later or something. And so I guess that was two separate journeys for me of like the audition process for it. And then like going and filming it kind of like all was like one big journey of like meeting everyone and like getting a character and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Lincoln, like Kat, you know, you worked in other genres. You worked in like the horror movie thriller genre as well with Nope specifically. Does the mindset kind of change from a storytelling perspective working on something like that and then coming to Popular Theory? Or is it all kind of storytelling at the end of the day?
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's all like telling a story and, you know, being in a brand new world and expressing differently. But if you go down like, I mean, it is like horror and then to comedy. But yeah, all of it is telling stories. Yeah.
Sophia, you work on a film like this, and you know, first of all, could we just give a shout out to the crew for Popular Theory? Because if there's, you know, no crew, there's no movie, right? Let's
right.
Yeah, we have to give a
absolutely.
shout out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You look at everything in the making of, and obviously acting is something you're really focused on. Specifically with this movie, you're acting in it. Do you kind of like work on a project and see all the steps and everything that goes in and then think about going behind the camera as well and writing and producing and directing one day, or is acting still something you're focusing on?
You know, I really see myself just continuing like being an actor for as long as I can. But I don't know, I've tried to write scripts and I get an idea and then I start it, I write like the first 10 scenes and then I just like get bored and I stop. So I don't really think that I would be a good writer because for this movie, they started writing it in 2013 and it's just now coming out in 2024. So I don't think that I would be able to do that massively long process.
It's fascinating
I'd
to think about, though, right? Where like something you
Yeah.
filmed, and I think that's why we have an appreciation for movies. We're all movie fans here, right? We all love movies, and you're all actors, but you also love movies. Do we all agree that we also love, like, when we watch a movie, we're happy to see the product, knowing all the hard work that was put into it? Like, every scene has a story or a hurdle if you think about it, right?
Oh yeah. It's changed the way I watch movies. Like, actually getting to work in this, I think I'm like, dang, that must have been really difficult. And when now I watch horror movies, it's not as scary because you're like, there's like 25 people in that room right now making that happen.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes, honestly, like when there's an emotional scene in like a movie or show that I'm watching, it also kind of ruins it for me because I'm like, there's like 20 people behind the camera right now, and then it takes me out of the story. So sometimes I'm like, dang it, why?
It's crazy. Your perspective changes, but that's why kind of when I do interviews and everyone says like, oh, you have such good energy and everything, it's exciting. Like, I know how much work was put in this film. And then February 9th, nationwide, people are going to go be able to see it like in the theaters. Like, I know the journey. And that's what excites me. You know what I mean? Because it's like a really cool thing to think about. You have this idea. So you said, Sophia, you said it, like 2013, they have this idea for a script. Now it's like people can watch it. Like, it's actually mind-blowing, isn't it, Lincoln?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just the process that goes behind it. I mean, I've like thought of a cool idea for a movie before, but it's like, how do I end it? How do I make it make sense, you know? And just how they like complete everything and make it perfect. It's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. Last kind of question around the table before we around the horn before we wrap up. Kat, when they get a chance to watch this film, what are you hoping they'll get out of it takeaway wise with popular theory?
Two things, and I've said this, my two things I hope to get out of it. The first one is, you know, like when like kids, or not kids, because I still do this and like I'm an adult, you know, when you see a movie and you like adapt that personality of the lead because you want it to be your life. I'm hoping like we now have like a bunch of little Erwin and Winstons running around, like the kids are like adapting that little personality.
I love like the peeping outside the door too, right? Like that's
like I'm, you know, like I would totally do that if I was a kid like that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm just like Erwin. I'm gonna do a little experiment or something. So I hope we have a lot of experiments going on, and I also hope that we have a lot of people kind of, no matter what age you are, whether you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, or an adult, being like, hey, you know what? I don't have to be the most popular person in the room. I don't have to have the most Instagram followers. I can just find a group of friends who love and accept me for who I am. And that's where I find my happiness and my satisfaction.
Absolutely. Lincoln, what about you, takeaway wise?
Yeah, I would definitely say that, like, I hope some people realize that having a lot of people liking you isn't like the most important thing. It's having like just a few really good friends that accept you and have the same interests in you and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a really great story, and I hope people like really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Sophia, what about you?
You know, like I said, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be an astronaut. And whenever I would tell other girls my age that, they'd always be like, what? You want to be an astronaut? That's so weird. And I don't know. I just want girls and boys as well to feel like it's normal to be interested in like math and science, because it's not really normalized now. Like, you get made fun of for it.
Absolutely.
I just really want people to feel like that's normal and it's a good thing to like stuff like that.
Well, it's so interesting you say that very quickly too, like about like also like you see like superhero culture now with like Marvel and DC. When I was growing up, you know, in the 90s, like I'd get teased for wearing like a Spider-Man shirt. And now like I would be like the most popular kid in school. If you think about it. Like,
for sure.
So crazy. But no, I can't wait for everyone to see Popular Theory. Is going to be in theaters nationwide starting February 9th via Blue Fox Entertainment. Sophia, Lincoln, Kat, so good to see you all. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.